away at the age of 71 yesterday. Cunningham famously ran for 135 yards and 2 touchdowns to beat an all-white Alabama team in 1970, which led to Bear Bryant's decision to start recruiting black players. Jerry Claiborne, a former Crimson Tide assistant, famously said Sam Cunningham did more to integrate Alabama in 60 minutes than Martin Luther King did in 20 years. Wow. Shannon, what is your reaction to this news and Cunningham's impact on football?
Skip, I did not know Sam Cunningham personally, but I played with his younger brother, Randall, and Randall referred to him as Bam, but I understood who he was and what he represented. And I don't know if a lot of people realize this, Skip, but that was his first game starting.
It was. He's a freshman.
Because freshmen could play. Football and basketball was the only college sports that didn't allow freshmen to play. All the other sports allowed college freshmen to play. So it wasn't until 72, 73 in which college freshmen got an opportunity to play. Skip, what he did. Now, in 1940, I think the first year was maybe 67. I think Kentucky had a black guy that played Nat Norrington. I think that's his name, Skip. But
in football.
Football. Yeah. It wasn't until Bam Cunningham, because back then, Skip, the only time that Alabama played the USCs were in bowl games. Teams from the West didn't go south and play. Him going down there and Coach Bryant seeing up close and personal what black players could do. That was also the first time an all-black backfield. Clarence Davis and Jimmy Jones.
They did. They have black quarterback and black running back and black fullback. Yeah. Whew. Right before your very eyes.
Coach Bryant said, nah, bro. Nah, y'all ain't finna leave me behind. It's just like, think about this, Skip. This was the early 70s. Now, Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier in 47. 1964 was the Civil Rights Act. They were supposed to be in compliance. That was 64. We're talking about the late 70s, and they still hadn't come into compliance. It wasn't until the federal government says, we're going to withhold federal funding if you don't do the right thing. So the 1896 case, Plessy versus Ferguson, separate but equal, was no longer going to apply. Get these, Skip, and once they did it, the floodgates opened. It's happening the same thing in football, Skip. What did they start doing? Going to black colleges and getting these black players.
They did.
You see what happened? It changed the trajectory. They got these black players in baseball. Jackie Robinson opened. All of a sudden, the Willie Mazes, the Henry Aaron, the Frank Robinsons. It changed the dynamic, and Bam Cunningham was the reason why. A lot of these black athletes, what you see going to USC and going to Alabama and all these schools, is Bam Cunningham.
This was Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama. Packed house.
Yes.
Opening game, opening Saturday afternoon. I watched it, but I wasn't old enough to get the magnitude of what was about to transpire. But USC from the West Coast, from Southern California, which was much more open-minded and progressive, said, watch this. And you're right. Coach Bryant watched it up close and very personal. Just for the record, he had already recruited one black player, Wilbur Jackson, who was not yet playing for the team. But all of a sudden, the floodgates opened, and Coach Bryant was going to win 3 national titles through the rest of the 70s, through that decade. And it's because of this. This was momentous, this breakthrough that happened in large part because Bam had that game, 135 and 2 touchdowns, and he was one of the first to do the 1-yard leap for the touchdown. That's how he got the nickname Bam. And it's one of the great nicknames in the history of sports is Sam Bam.
Because he was a fullback. Skip, now, we all know USC is tailback U. Because they had O.J., they had Mike Garrett.
They'd already had O.J.
O.J., Mike Garrett, and then all of a sudden, you got Clarence Davis, you got Bam Cunningham, Reggie Bush, Charles White, Marcus Allen. They were loaded.
And I had the privilege in about 75-ish of interviewing Sam Bam Cunningham, who was then, remember, he became New England's all-time leading rusher.
Still is.
And he was a delight because he was very wise beyond his years. He knew what was happening that day. And his point was, to me, They won too. We beat the hell. I mean, you know, like it was 42-21. They won too because it opened the door.
So Palace and what he's been able to accomplish as far as the star and Jerry's world and all this other stuff, highlighting his yacht and helicopter and all those things. That's not what Mike McCarthy is doing, Skip. Mike McCarthy has to get a team, has to get 53 guys ready to play a 17-game season, and the nuances of what he's trying to look at guys and evaluate guys and have a good idea of who my starters are going to be, you know. But did somebody flash enough that we really need to give this guy an opportunity? Or do we need to give this guy more opportunity as far as via the practice squad? That's not what Jerry's doing, Skip. Jerry's not going through the monotony of every single day evaluating the players. Jerry gets a sheet handed to him. Jerry ain't watching no tape. Jerry's not out there. He's sitting up top looking down. It's the coaches that are out there that's watching. Go back, get the tape, because as soon as they come down, they got even after every drill, they got somebody run it down, Skip, and they already start breaking the tape down. So when the coaches come out the field, Skip, they're stacked up on their desk ready to be evaluated. That's what Mike McCarthy said. Yeah, it's, you know, I got to watch what I say, got to watch what I, you know, all these other things. Jared's like, man, this is fun for me. I just sit up in my office and I'm telling y'all how much fun I'm having and what a great opportunity we're going to have. But that's not... And I don't think Mike embraced it. Brian Billick embraced it. Brian loves to talk. So he's like, hey, guys, hey, it is what it is. Have fun. But we were a veteran ball club, Skip. We had come off of winning the Super Bowl. So we were trying to go back. So we knew what it took. I mean, it was different. We didn't have bed checks. We didn't have curfew. We didn't have, even the night of the week of the Super Bowl, we had no bed check, no curfew.
But you were the first team ever to be on Hard Knocks.
Right. So it is what you make of it. But I understand from a coach's perspective, only the Cowboys would voluntarily do this. Ain't no other teams that, nah. Guess who they hadn't got? And who you're not going to get? The Patriots. Yeah, Bill Belichick said he'll
At some point, I think they have to do it, right? Isn't it going to be a league rule?
Yeah, well, that's when Coach Belichick said, you know what? Mr. Kraft deuces, I'm up out of here.
I don't see that happening.
He's going to say, I'm up out of here.
Okay, I'm going to start with Mike McCarthy. I completely understand why he said he was so relieved by last Friday that the cameras were gone.
Exactly.
Because the cameras exposed him as a motivational speaker, as a commanding officer, as the general of the Dallas Cowboys. He's just not a natural-born leader. That is not his forte. I think once upon a time he was a really good coordinator. I think he was a great play caller for a stretch when he had Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. He does none of the above now. And so if you ask him to provide a motivational speech for a segment of Hard Knocks, he's going to reach and he's going to look worse and worse because it gets lamer and lamer.
Yeah, it does. But Skip, you said he's not a great motivator. It's okay, Skip. You can be a great play caller and not very motivational.
Sure.
You can be very motivational but not a great play caller.
Yeah.
Well, if you're not even calling the plays and you don't provide the motivation, then what the hell are you doing?
And the most embarrassing moment is they're playing Arizona in a preseason game. That was Arizona's first preseason game, their second. And he's giving them a rah-rah speech like, we got to get even with these guys for what they did to us in the regular season at Jerry World. It's a preseason game. It came off as so pathetically lame and just trying too hard because nobody's going to buy that in your locker room.
The standard should be the standard, Skip. It doesn't matter who you're playing. Mike, and I always hark back to Mike, Skip, is that he always like, look, we know why we came here. We know what's expected of us.
Yep.
I don't have to tell you to play hard. I don't have to tell you to do this, do that. You know what's expected. You're being evaluated.
Yeah. So last night he's getting ready for Tampa. We got to go get him, man. We got to play football. Just stop it. That's what I told you. Dak can speak. Mike, put a sock in it. Let Dak do all the pregame motivational speaking. I'm good with that. Now let's flip it to Jerry. So we have a coach saying, I'm relieved, and that was 2 days ago. Then we have Jerry yesterday on his show saying, no, it's great for our team. Well, he just shot the coach down and made him look even more foolish because he's saying this is exactly what you do need. You need cameras everywhere. We were the first to have cameras in our draft night room because everybody is on high alert because they know you got a lot of eyeballs on you. I buy what Jerry is saying. I do think it's good for a football team to have those cameras everywhere through the whole training camp because it does motivate you to practice a little bit harder. You're on tape for the nation to see.
Yeah, guess what? They film everything at practice anyway.
But it's not going on HBO.
But Skip, you think them guys going to practice? I already know because the eye in the sky doesn't lie. That's the thing that we love about the camera. It doesn't matter. It doesn't look at anything other than what you actually did. So when the coach comes back and asks me, say, you did this, and I say, no, I didn't, I say, wait till you see the tape. And he say, my bad, you did exactly what you said.
You really think Trevon Diggs would have competed that hard against Amari if it weren't going on HBO?
Of course, because the thing,
I don't.
Skip, because here's the thing, Skip. You have to understand, like, when we're in practice one-on-one, everybody is talking. I'm trying to shut you. I'm tired of you talking. Bro, it's hot out here. You talking about you beat me, you dogging me.